Polly Post is Puzzled, featuring Raftus and Rufus. Polly Post, the Arctos by the Sea postie bear, had a huge mail delivery for tomorrow. Polly wondered why there had been so many letters and parcels in the big red box outside the post office when she had collected the mail at 4:15. Not a minute after and not a minute before. It wasn't someone's birthday, she was sure. Was there a party somewhere? Was there a special event planned? Polly Post carried the big bundle of letters and parcels into the post office and began sorting them into different piles. Polly knew where each bear lived, so she always put the letters and parcels into the order she would deliver them. Polly had a lovely little horse named Bobbin to ride and a big bag to hold the mail. Usually, there weren't a lot of letters and parcels, so the mail was only delivered once a week, unless there was a special delivery, and then Polly Post always made an exception and delivered that item the very next day. But this huge pile of mail today had Polly really puzzled. It would take her a long time to sort everything. "This one is for Vanessa de Vinay," Polly murmured as she put the letter into Vanessa's pile. "And this parcel is addressed to Liberty at the library. It goes over there, in that pile." Soon Polly had 7 different piles of mail to be delivered, and there were still so many more letters and parcels to sort out. The next letter had Polly very confused. She couldn't read the address on the front, no matter which way she held it. She just couldn't make out any of the words. "I know my eyesight is getting poor," said Polly. "I'll have to take this over to my big lamp with the bright light to see if I can read the address." Polly Post sat down under the big lamp and held the envelope close to the light. She blinked several times. "No, I can't see anything." Raftus and Rufus were watching Polly Post through the post office window. They were so excited. Would their experiment work? "I've got that new special light that Isaac Inventory gave to me to use when I couldn't see things. Maybe I should try it," said Polly. She turned the strange coloured light on and exclaimed, "What's happening? What's going on?" Right before her eyes, words suddenly appeared on the envelope. "Eli Edit," the address read. Maybe it was just my eyes adjusting, thought Polly, as she put that letter into Eli Edit's pile. Raftus and Rufus jumped up and down outside the window. "It worked! It really did work!" whispered Rufus with glee. "3 more to go," said Raftus. "Let's keep watching." Polly sorted a few more letters, and then the same thing happened again. Another envelope with no writing. Polly picked up the next item. Oh no, another letter with no writing. She picked up another envelope and just couldn't believe her eyes. Yet another letter with no address that she could see. "Well, I'll use Isaac's light again and see if I can read the addresses," muttered Polly. As Polly held up each letter, an address appeared under the light. "This is incredible! Just what is happening?" said Polly out loud. "Golly gosh," read one. "Professor PJ," read another. And Georgie Green read the last one. Polly was very, very confused and just a little bit worried. Was Isaac's light really that special, or were her eyes really getting weaker? Maybe she should go and see Nurse Naomi Nova. Polly looked up just as two little heads disappeared below the window. Aha, thought Polly Post. Those little toughs have got something to do with this. Polly hurried over to the door and opened it quickly. There under the window crouched Raftus and Rufus. They looked at Polly with big grins on their little faces. "Were you confused, Polly Post?" asked Rufus. "Can we come inside the post office and tell you what we did?" Polly ushered the two little bears inside, where they all sat down, surrounded by letters and parcels. "Well," said Polly, "what have you done?" Raftus and Rufus started to talk at the same time, and Polly couldn't understand what they were saying. "One at a time would be a good idea," said Polly. Raftus began. "We found an old book, Polly, and it had recipes and hints in it. We read that you could make invisible ink by writing in milk or lemon juice, putting the envelope somewhere to dry, and then holding it up to a warm light. But that didn't work. So we asked Isaac Inventory for help, and he said a long time ago he had given you a special light called an ultraviolet light, in case you ever needed to discover a hidden word in a code or something like that. But he said we would have to write in something that would show up under the UV light, like a white crown. We thought of all the letters you have to sort, so we wrote on 4 envelopes with a white crown that we got from Liberace and put them into the big red box outside. Then we watched you find them and take them over to your lamp and then use your UV light, and then the writing appeared. Oh, it was amazing to see." Polly Post tried to keep a straight face, but it really was funny, and she chuckled merrily. "It was very funny," said Raftus and Rufus together. Polly, Raftus and Rufus all laughed and laughed. Just then, Polly had a wonderful idea. "Raftus and Rufus, would you help me finish sorting these letters? Then you can come along with me tomorrow morning and help deliver everything." "Oh, Polly, yes, please. We'd really like to help you," said Rufus, picking up a letter and handing it to Polly. "And if you're wondering why there are so many letters, we heard Vanessa talking to Professor PJ. Vanessa was discussing a new afternoon show at the Gathering Place, where all the bears would be in the audience, and on the stage Professor PJ would interview 1 or 2 bears at a time. There would be lucky door prizes and other exciting things too, and the show is going to be called G'day PJ. Vanessa said she would write to all the bears this week and tell them the day and time of the first show. So lots of these letters are probably from Vanessa. Come on, Raftus, let's get started and help Polly Post. What a great way to spend today." Just as they were about to leave, Polly asked Raftus and Rufus if they would like to go to the beach tomorrow after the letters and parcels were delivered. "Would we ever?" said Raftus. "Oh, this day is turning out to be extra special." Raftus and Rufus were up early the next day and arrived at the post office just as Polly Post was closing the door. Polly Post helped Raftus and Rufus up onto Bobbin, her horse, and off they went delivering letters and parcels. At last they were finished and headed for the beach. It was a lovely sunny day, and they were so happy they sang as they walked over the sand to sit on a log. "Have a toffee," said Polly, holding out a box of toffees to Raftus and Rufus. Polly had put the box into her mailbag before they had left the post office. Thank you, Polly, replied Rufus, taking 2 toffees and handing one to Raftus. The toffees were lovely and sticky and took a long time to chew. Polly said she would like to just sit for a while and suggested Raftus and Rufus could have a walk along the beach. Let's find some flowers for Polly, suggested Rufus. She's been very kind to us today and we've had a lot of fun. There's some flowers over there. Come on, Raftus. Soon the little bears had picked a handful of flowers, and when they gave them to Polly, she was so thrilled she gave Raftus and Rufus another toffee each. It was early in the afternoon by the time Polly and the 2 little bears arrived back at the post office. "Bye, Polly," called Raftus and Rufus as they waved goodbye. "We won't play tricks on you again. It was very funny though, wasn't it?" Polly laughed as she waved back. "What'll we do tomorrow?" Raftus and Rufus sang as home they ran. "We'll think of something, I'm sure we can." The end.